Today's training module on purchase orders is going to cover a variety of things. We're going to cover creating POs from the sales order. We're going to be looking at batching purchase orders out of the PO wizard that's in your EME Vision system. We're going to be looking at editing purchase orders and sending those purchase orders to the vendor and supplier, as well as we're going to be talking about receiving in the goods once they get that from your supplier and vendor. So we'll go ahead and start. What you see in front of you is the EME Vision dashboard. And we're going to begin with a sales order. So I'm just going to quickly create a project, and we'll give that project a subject. Now we've got our status, which is new project. Our target date we will select is the 30th, and we'll select a customer, ABC League. So we'll key that in. And the first thing that we'll do up here now is go to next, and we'll create a sales order or work in progress. And I'm simply going to put a product onto that. So we'll just go ahead and key that in. We'll put the alpha shirt. And once that shirt comes up on our work in progress, we'll go ahead and select the colors and sizes, quantity, sell, and so forth. So we'll go colors and sizes. So we'll select ash gray, and we'll do 10 of each. And I'm tabbing through here again, as well as I'm going to select black, and we'll select 10 of those. Update options down at the bottom at the box. And that'll put those items onto your sales order. And for the time being, we'll go ahead and we'll put a decoration on there. We'll do a screen print for those t-shirts, and we'll just basically say a one position, and it's a 3-color screen, and bring that into the sales order as well. So basically we've gone ahead and created a sales order, and if I click on this toggle button, I can see who that vendor or supplier is. So I have a product here. The t-shirts are coming in from Alpha, which is a blank good. And then I've selected an outside company, Sharpie's Printing, to do the screen printing. So if I raise a purchase order from this sales order, I want to make sure I put my job box number here and my due date and when it's scheduled in production. Okay, so we've got the due date and when it's scheduled. And now if I come up to the next button, I have the ability to create a purchase order just for this one sales order. And when I do that, if I create the purchase orders for this sales order, it's going to create two, one for my screen printer, one for the t-shirts. And you're going to see that in the project now. So I've got one sales order with this t-shirt, and I've got two purchase orders. And I have a purchase order for this t-shirt and for the screen printing. And what you'll notice is the status of this purchase order is in requisition, which means I have not sent that to the supplier or vendor. So I haven't placed the order with them. Before doing so, I have the ability to look up and go into this actual PO and edit that document before sending it to the supplier or placing that order. So if I come in here, here's the purchase order. It will have the vendor Alpha shirt. You can see what's being actually ordered from Alpha shirt. You have the ability to click on the shipping tab, and you can say ship it directly to ABC League. But in this case, we need to ship it to our decorator, which is Sharpie's Printing. So what we're going to go ahead is ship this to a different address. And you'll see the additional information below. So what we're going to do is we want to ship to and we'll just say their address is 20 Tree Lane. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so we've got that. We've got their address there. And you can take a look at the purchase order to see if there are any changes that you need to make on this. So again, you can see that this is purchase order PO 3497. It's going to Alpha for these t-shirts, and it pertains to project 287918, and it's for a specific sales order. So if I go ahead and I look in my design, I can see what that PDF looks like. So I've got my PDF there. There are different things that I can do to edit that PDF. But basically, you've got a line item of what's being ordered. You're sending it to Alpha Shirt. You've got the shipping address where it needs to go. So what you can do now is come up here to Next, and you can send and share that particular document and place the order either by email, or you can print this PO and place it online through the supplier's website. So it's generated the purchase order, and it's going to let me send from my computer, or I'm just going to send directly out of here. I don't necessarily want to send it because I don't want to place this order at this point in time. So I am going to cancel out. And now if I close this purchase order, I can go now into that project. So if I go back into my project overview, and I can see here's my project purchase order training. So I could go into this project and see what's going on. So I can see the sales order that I did. You can see that I've raised 2 purchase orders. And at this point, if I click on my purchase order tab for this project, I can see that this is now at new order status, which means I basically have placed the order with the supplier for this shirt. Now, the other screen printing PO is still at requisition status, which means I still need to send them the purchase order for the decoration. Okay, so if I scroll up here, now another way to take a look at this is if I come up here to the projects drop down and I select purchase orders, I can see all the purchase orders that are on the system. So you can now see here's that purchase order for the decoration of those shirts, but you can also see here's that Alpha shirt one, and it's at new order. So you can see that the status changed from requisition to new order, so it's been placed. Now if you want to sort your purchase orders, you can just come up here to Project, Purchase Orders, so you can view all your purchase orders, and then you can sort by status. So if you want to see all your purchase orders that have been placed with the supplier, you can hit Status New Order, and you can see all those that you're waiting for those goods to come in. So these have all been placed with the supplier. So you've placed those orders. Okay, and it references the supplier name and what the order value was. You also can go into the project to find more out about that particular order. Okay, so once an order has been placed and it's now at new order status, and you've either sent that document to the vendor or supplier, or you've placed it online using their website and placed an order that way, you now have the ability, because it's a new order status, you now have the ability to see Receive PO. So basically, when that comes back from your supplier and vendor and they deliver those t-shirts, I can now come into this purchase order and I can receive in those t-shirts. So I can click on Receive PO, and I can either flag the whole order being delivered or partially delivered. For instance, maybe I did partially delivered and I didn't get I didn't get any of these, so 0, and then I can confirm delivery. So I'm still waiting on the one size of t-shirt. So it's telling me now that that purchase order has been partially delivered. So if I go back into my projects and I look at my purchase orders, I can see that one is still able to receive in the additional t-shirts that I'm waiting for, and it's only partially delivered. So that's how you would receive in the products once they've been shipped to you for decoration. Okay, so that's one way of doing purchase orders. That's creating the purchase order from the sales order while you're in the project. The other way of creating purchase orders is using the PO wizard and batching your purchase orders. So it all again begins with the sales order. So if I come up here and I do a new project, and I'm going to do the batching, new project, and our target date is going to be the 30th, and the customer is going to be Anaheim Little League. And we'll go into next and we'll create a sales order. So again, we're just going to create a sales order and put some product onto that sales order. And this time we'll just do that G200. Select the alpha t-shirt. It's going to populate onto our sales order. And we do want to get in the habit of coming up here and making sure that you've got your job box filled out and due date and so forth. So we'll do that in just a minute. Select our black shirts and we'll just say we need 100 large. Update. And we'll also put some screen printing on that. Again, we'll use Sharpies, screen prints. One position. And we'll say it's a 3 color. So we've got our product on there and we've also got our decoration. I want to come up here and make sure I put my job box number in here and my due date for when the project needs to be in the hands of the customer and when I want to schedule it into production. Okay, so we've got all the sales order information established. Now, instead of creating the purchase order here, I'm going to just simply save and close this order. So if I come up here and I save and close, I'm now going to come back to this project. So it's telling me I have one sales order and it's at new order. It hasn't been sent to the customer, which is fine. I'm now going to do what's called the batching the purchase orders. And now what I'm going to do is if I come up to projects and I go to purchase orders, again, you're going to see all the purchase orders that have already been created on the system. But down here, you see a generate button. When you hit this generate button, what it does is it goes out and looks at all the sales orders that are in requisition status, which means that the customer has agreed to order them. And it takes all those sales orders and raises a purchase order for those sales orders. So if I hit generate, it's going to search the database and find all those open sales orders that do not have a purchase order yet placed. So you can see that there's quite a few. And what this allows you to do is group your products. So maybe you had 3 or 4 sales orders with alpha shirt products. It's going to go out and find all that and it's going to group them. And so when I batch them, I'm going to get one PO for all those sales orders that have alpha on it. So I only have to order once from alpha and I get my free shipping and all that. So here's my sales order, or my purchase order, sorry. And now it's grouping on this first page Alpha. And then the next group is Bodic, and you can move through the pages. Now, I can exclude non-acknowledged orders. So that means that maybe those are just new orders that I haven't sent out to the thing. So I want to make sure I exclude non-acknowledged. Okay, so that changes things a little bit. And if I want to remove them, maybe I don't have enough at this time to place with the supplier to get that free shipping, I can check this box and it will fall off my list. So I can do that. Now I also want to expand this window a bit. Because at the bottom here, you'll see that I can print this list. So I can, before I batch, so before I go and create those POs, I'm going to want to print my list. And then when I print it, I can go ahead and say create the POs, and it's going to generate purchase orders for all those sales orders and products that didn't have a purchase order assigned to them. So now you can see that I've got these purchase orders. They're still at requisition, so it means it hasn't been sent or placed with the supplier yet. So if I go into this one that says various, if I click on this purchase order number and open that purchase order, I can see that this one purchase order has a couple items on here, but right down here it's relating to 2 sales orders versus 1. So it's going to have a various is going to tell you that it's going to relate to more than 1 sales order, and you'll see those sales orders referenced there. But what it's done is it's raised this purchase order for Alpha, and it might be something you do at the end of the day. You might want to batch your POs then, and then you can place your order with Alpha at the end of the day. So you can see that it's in requisition status, and you can edit this purchase order just like we did the other purchase order. So if you want, you can, make any changes. You can come over to shipping, and if you want, it's automatically going to default to the Embroidered Me location that you're at. So all these blank goods coming in from Alpha are going to be shipped to you at your location. And then again, you can come up to next, and you can send and share and place that order via email, or you could print it and then go online and place that order with that supplier. It's up to you. So if we send and share, again, it's going to ask for a ship date and a due date. And we can go ahead and send and share that. And I'm not going to send it because, again, I don't want to place this order. It's going to generate that PDF. And you can go ahead and send that to the supplier. We're going to go ahead and cancel that just so it doesn't go out. And now if I come back, I can go to projects, and I can go to my purchase orders, and I can see again all the purchase orders that have been created. You can see that those that say various probably pertain to multiple sales orders, so you want to open up and edit that document. Anything that's in requisition status means that it has not yet been placed with the supplier or vendor. Anything in new order status has, and when it has been placed, you can then receive in the goods. Now the last thing that I want to talk about is you do have the ability to see all purchase orders that you've been placed with a particular supplier. If I come over here to contacts and I go into my vendor record, I have the ability to say, show me Alpha. So I can search for Alpha, it's right here. I can open up my Alpha vendor record, and under activities, I can see, again, any calendar events, any projects that pertain to Alpha, and I also can see the purchase orders. So if I want to look at purchase orders, I'll be able to look at those as well. So once those purchase orders come in, I can see those based upon that supplier. So that's another way where you can see those purchase orders that have been sent. Now, I didn't send the purchase orders. I canceled out, so you're not going to see those there. But any purchase orders that have actually been sent to that supplier would show up here. Okay, so that concludes this section on purchase orders. We looked at creating a purchase order from a sales order within a specific project. And then we also went through how to batch sales orders and generate POs for those sales orders that didn't have a PO on the system. We also talked, so there is a post test that I do recommend that you take after this, and any additional webinars and videos that pertain to this particular training module, please take a look at those as well. Thank you.